You're at a work happy hour and someone says they're broke until Friday, and everyone else laughs because everyone is. You laugh too. Your account has $11,400 in it. You've been transferring $400 every month for 2 years without telling anyone. You order the same cheap beer you always order. You say nothing. The conversation moves on. Someone orders another round and asks if you're in, and you say yes, and you split the bill evenly at the end, even though you had 1 drink and everyone else had 3, and you don't mention that either. You drive home. You sit in the parking lot of your apartment building for a few minutes before going inside. You open the app. $11,400. You close it. You go to bed. That night you feel something you don't have a name for yet. Not guilt, not pride, something in between. The specific texture of being in a room full of people who think they know your situation and knowing they don't. It doesn't feel like lying. It feels like standing slightly to the left of where everyone thinks you're standing. Close enough that nobody notices, far enough that you feel the distance. You don't know yet that the distance will grow every year for the next decade until the gap between where you actually are and where everyone thinks you are is so large it has its own weight. You don't know that yet. Right now it's just a beer in a parking lot and a number on a screen that nobody else has seen. The number changed. Nobody saw it. The first secret costs almost nothing. That's what makes it so easy to keep. You eat lunch in your car now. You started 8 months ago. You told people you were trying to eat healthier. That's partly true. The fuller truth is that $12 a day is $3,120 a year, and you made a decision about what mattered more, and you made it quietly, and you told no one. You pack something the night before. You eat it in the parking garage at work with the engine off. Nobody sees this. It doesn't feel like sacrifice. It feels like a fact you've accepted and moved past. Your account crosses $20,000 on a Tuesday afternoon while you're sitting in that parking garage eating something from a container you washed and reused. You find out from the notification on your phone. You look at it, you finish eating, you fold the container, you go back inside and answer emails until 6 p.m. Your friend calls that evening. He makes more than you. He always has. He bought a car last year that you didn't comment on. He takes trips you see on Instagram and say nothing about. Tonight he calls to say he's broke until Friday. You listen. You say the right things. The $20,000 sits in your phone like a fact that belongs to a different conversation than the one you're having. After you hang up, you open the parking garage on the app for a second. $20,340. You close it. You wash the container. You make the next month's transfer. The number changed. Nobody saw it. Invisible progress is invisible by design. The design was yours. Year 3. Your account is approaching $40,000. You've started investing. You learned about index funds from reading things nobody around you is reading. You didn't announce that either. The money moves automatically now. You set it up on a Sunday afternoon, and then you didn't touch it, and it grew, and you watched it grow in silence the way you watch a plant grow. Slowly. Without witness. Your sister buys a new car. It's more car than she needs, and you know exactly what the payment calculates to over 5 years because you did the math without meaning to. You don't say this. You say it looks great. It does look great. You mean both things. A coworker goes to Europe for 2 weeks. You like the photos genuinely. You are not jealous. You are something more complicated than jealous. You are a person who has made a specific decision and is watching everyone else make different ones and saying nothing about any of it. You eat lunch in your car while they post from airports. You make the monthly transfer while they check in at hotels. The watching is its own cost. Not because you want what they have. Because you are choosing something that produces no photographs, and the absence of photographs in a world organized around photographs is its own kind of loneliness. You open the app in the parking garage on a Wednesday. $39,800. Close to the number. You close it. You eat. You go back inside. The number changed. Nobody saw it. The cost of watching is watching without being watched back. Year 5. Your net worth crosses $100,000 on a Wednesday morning while you're making coffee. The notification comes through. You look at it. $100,340. You put your phone in your pocket. You pour the coffee. You drive to work. You park in the garage. You do not eat lunch there today because you have a team lunch, and you go and you split the bill evenly and you say nothing. The questions are coming from a different direction now. Not about money. About the shape of your life. Your parents ask when you're buying a house. You talk about the market. Your friends ask why you never come to the expensive things. You mention being tired. A colleague says you seem like you have your life together and laughs in a way that's a question wearing the clothes of a compliment. You laugh back, you change the subject. You are becoming skilled at answering the question behind the question with a different answer entirely. Not lying. Redirecting. There is a difference. The difference gets smaller every year. Your girlfriend asks why you're so careful with money. You've been together 8 months. You trust her. You almost tell her the number. Your girlfriend asks why you're so careful with money. You've been together 8 months. You trust her. You almost tell her the number. Year 7, your portfolio crosses $200,000. You've had 2 raises that you put directly into the account before they could become lifestyle. Year 7, your portfolio crosses $200,000. You've had 2 raises that you put directly into the account before they could become lifestyle. The distance between where you are and where people think you are now has a geography. There are people in your life who would be shocked by the number. Not impressed, shocked. You go home for the holidays. Your uncle makes a comment about young people being bad with money. You nod. Your cousin complains about debt. You pass the potatoes. You go home for the holidays. Your uncle makes a comment about young people being bad with money. You nod. Your cousin complains about debt. You pass the potatoes. You are sitting at a table full of people who love you and you are somewhere else financially, and the gap between those 2 locations is 7 years of quiet decisions made without witnesses that you could not explain without rearranging every relationship at the table. So you eat. You smile. You help with the dishes after. In the car on the way home, you open the app. $204,600. You close it before you pull out of the driveway. The number changed. Nobody saw it. Distance looks exactly like staying the same. That's the only reason it works. Year 9, your net worth is approaching $400,000. You almost tell your best friend on a Thursday night. The conversation has gone somewhere honest. The door is open. You feel it. You think about what you'd say. You think about his face when you say it. You think about whether anything between you would be different after. You think for too long. The moment passes. The conversation moves. You close the door from the inside and order another drink. You almost tell your girlfriend on a Sunday morning. She's talking about her own anxiety around money, about wanting to feel more secure, about being scared of the future. You are lying next to her with $400,000 in an account she doesn't know exists, and you love her, and you want to say something, and something stops you. Not distrust. The awareness that telling her changes something about what you have right now, and you don't know what it changes it into. You wait, again. The number changes again. She doesn't see it. You almost post something once. Not the number, just a reference to what you've been doing. You typed it, you read it back, you deleted it before you understood why. The almost tellings accumulate the way the money does, quietly, without witness. Each one leaves a small residue, a version of every close relationship that is accurate in every way except the most important financial one. The people who love you holding a portrait of you with one thing missing and not knowing anything is missing. The number changed. Nobody saw it. Almost is the loudest silence there is. Almost costs more than telling would have. Year 10, your net worth crosses $500,000 on a Tuesday in March. You're at your desk. Your phone vibrates. You look at it. $502,140. You put it face down. You finish the email. You send it. You pick the phone back up and look at the number for a moment longer than you usually do. Then you put it away and go eat lunch in your car. It's the same parking garage, the same container you packed the night before, the same engine-off silence you've been sitting in since year 2. You eat. You look at the concrete pillar in front of you. You think about the happy hour 10 years ago, the cheap beer, the $11,400 you didn't mention, the laugh you performed because everyone was laughing, the parking lot after where you sat alone and felt the distance for the first time. The distance is $502,140 now. You built it one transfer at a time in the silence between what you said and what was true. Nobody clapped, nobody watched, nobody knew when the hard months came and you transferred anyway. Nobody knew about the nights you opened the app in the parking garage and closed it and went back inside. Nobody knew about the almost tellings or the questions you redirected or the family dinners where you passed the potatoes and said okay and meant something else. You finish eating, you fold the container, you sit for another minute. Somewhere right now someone is at a happy hour laughing about being broke until Friday. They're ordering the cheap beer. They're performing the financial position that everyone around them is performing. They don't know yet that the performance is optional. They don't know yet that the exit from the performance is quiet and unglamorous and decades long, and looks from the outside exactly like nothing. They don't know yet that you can build something real in the space between what you say and what you do. That the most productive place you ever inhabit might be the gap between the life people see and the life you're actually living. That nobody has to witness it for it to be real. That the account doesn't care if anyone is watching. That the transfer goes through whether or not anyone claps. You drive back to the office. You park. You take the elevator up. You sit at your desk and answer emails until evening. Nobody in the building knows what happened in the parking garage. Nobody knows what the phone showed you this morning. Nobody knows what 10 years of silence just produced. The number changed for a decade. Nobody saw it. That was never the problem. That was always the whole thing.